Hi everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host Sheridan Nichols, and I have Matt Austin here today from the police department, and we're going to talk about a really serious topic that I think some people may need to hear this message over and over and over before it really sinks in, and that is distracted driving. So tell us a little bit about, you deal with this every day in your profession. What do you see?
Well, I would say is traffic safety is always a huge concern and a priority with us at the police department. And one of the things that we're seeing now, with the cell phones, is distracted driving is becoming more and more prevalent. And we work on different things throughout the year to improve traffic safety and reduce the number of crashes. And but we're seeing, an increase in those types of things again, because everybody's probably seen it as they're driving down the road and they thought, why is that person doing that? And usually it's because of some type of distraction that they're distracting them from the driver being able to focus on what they were doing while they were driving. One of the biggest things, and again, what people think of a lot of times is cell phones. There is a law that about texting and driving, but what people don't know is that a lot of times that they don't think even just using their cell phone. Tennessee doesn't have a law that says that you can't talk on the phone while you're driving, for adults, but it does. Just having the phone, their actions a lot of times, if they're trying to find different phone numbers or trying to dial the phone, they're actually taking their focus off of the driving, which becomes so dangerous. And those things from, again, in populated areas, or you got different subdivisions that they're in, there's a lot of kids that are out playing, and those things, and you can see the difference when someone's distracted from the different things from the distracted driving is just as dangerous as someone that's impaired driving. Again, because the reaction times, our brains function in a way that that if we get focused on something, as we see something and it processes in our brain, it takes us the time to be able to react. And those longer times that it takes us to react to something that may run out in front of the road or actually veer. A lot of the times people see it, sometimes they'll focus on something on the side of the road, and as they're looking at it, their car will veer toward the direction that they were looking at. Well, that's what a lot of times what happens, where the phone may start ringing and they start to try to look to try to find the phone, to pick up the phone. And those actions in itself are against the law, because it's the car is starting to change directions in the pattern, and they can be charged with distracted driving. And we're gonna there's an added focus right now that we're gonna be out working very hard to one, and just like this, is to try to educate people. We're not in the business to just give tickets, but there's purposes for those that shows the difference of the more enforcement, the less number of crashes, and again, the goal is to try to save people's lives and save injuries that occur in those crashes.
Yeah, I'm sure like the number just probably steadily increases annually, because more people everybody seems to have a cell phone now, and the texting. And what about on the Bluetooth?
Well, and again, it all goes down to focus and on what's happening with those are always good if you're going to have to do it. We try to tell people, if you have to take that call, is to pull off the side of the road, pull into a parking lot, those are much safer to take the call that way than to actually try to do it while you're driving. But it's not distracted driving isn't always just the cell phone. There's all kinds of things that create that distracted driving. Whether somebody's eating, a lot of times, whether they've gone through the fast food restaurant and they've gotten there digging for food that or something, they've got the drink and it spills on them, and they're all those actions create that distraction that they can also be part of that. So there's a lot of things. People say, you know, there's no way you see, but we see strange things. People driving down the road with a newspaper on the steering wheel, you know, reading paper as they're driving down the road. So those are all forms of distracted driving that that can create, you know, get a citation. Which, and again,
I've not
although
seen that one before.
citations aren't pleasant, but they're still much better than a traffic crash.
Absolutely.
You know, or the injuries that may be sustained from those, and that's why we're saying is it's not. People think, you know, it's not so much when that they're out looking to try to cause a crash, and we understand that, but that's why they're called accidents, because something happened that took their focus or attention away from focusing on the roadway that may create the collision or the accident that again causes injury or worse, death, you know, in those things, you know, that really hurt families all, you know, I mean, it hurts the community, you know, I mean, so that's why we're trying to focus on making sure that our roadways are as safe as possible as they can be for everybody, you know, our citizens here in Bristol, and, you know, the visitors that come visit us.
All righty. Thank you so much for being on and sharing that with us. Some really good advice today. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.